Hi everyone, this is Nikki Yu, also known as Faces Trader, and you're here to watch the Awesome10X Global Market Update. I'm sorry if today was a little bit late, but let's discuss the US markets. For the last 5 days, the US has been rebounding with small caps and micro caps dominating the movements. So let me just share to you what happened over the last 5 days. So over the last 5 days, a lot of actually companies, especially crypto-related companies, they actually fell and then they rebounded. Let me show to you what has happened. Hot mining actually rebounded in the last 3 days only to fall last night. But if you'll notice, there has been a strong drop on these mining firms. And a lot of your cryptocurrencies actually is getting volatility. So you're seeing BTC USD go up, but still below moving averages, below a certain resistance. Ethereum was one of the strongest ones, particularly these NFTs, but even to 6, we have a double top here. And then we've got BNB. We've got almost a double top here, about $600. So although there has been a strength rally move from about 450 to 600, we are still seeing a consolidation over these crypto assets. And in turn, you are seeing that crypto-related names such as Mara, Riot Blockchain are actually showing lower highs. There's actually weakness that is led in the stock markets that are particularly shifting contagious. It's becoming contagious that these lower highs in the blockchain are actually showing weaknesses also in cryptocurrencies. So take note, MSTR going down. Any rallies still are lower highs. Riot, Mara, all of them are actually showing to us more negative arrows rather than buying. So this is one of the reasons why we are more cautious rather than bullish. Take note, I'm just showing you charts here. It's still within that range. So if you take a look at some watch lists of mine, I'm here to show you that, especially the Chinese related names, it's gone down from $13 all the way to $4. That is a huge drop of about 80%. You've got Canaan, huge drop from 35 all the way to $12. So that's lower highs, lower highs. So if you look at how crypto-related assets have been doing, showing a lower high looks to me a predication that, even if Coinbase, it's also lower highs. So 430, 360, $302. These are all lower highs, such that my understanding is that even perhaps the cryptocurrencies are going to go into a definitive profit-taking model. So a drop on Tron from 18 cents to 9 cents, although there was a rally here at 12 to 13 cents, looks to be actually more of a consolidation with a lower high. So these are lower highs here. Take note of what's happening with ADA. Just from I'm just talking about these assets as a technical. Unless Cardano actually breaks above 1.6, in the short term, we still see that these persist as resistance. 136 is still a resistance. Take note that there are these resistances to actually take note of. Very strong, sharp moves, just like what cryptocurrencies usually are. But also take note that these strong moves, we've seen how assets in the venture capital world usually get profit-taking, just as what happened with the SPACs, just as what will likely be happening over cryptocurrencies. So here we actually want to warn all of the Awesome10X listeners here to actually be more cautious rather than being aggressive. Cardano, Tron, you've got actually a lot of your cryptocurrency showing lower highs. So this one, however, new is still a higher low. So this might actually be one of those few names that can still defy gravity. But there are really signs of froth. Now, I understand that people are saying that there is no bubble in crypto. The real bubble is in the dollar because of the massive printing of money. In fact, crypto is just the pin in the needle to actually prick that bubble, which is the dollar, the massive printing of money of the dollar. That's true. I would agree with that. However, don't you say that this high move of $15 to $150 in just over a year, or not even a year, we're just talking about a quarter, is already big enough to price in that inflationary move. If we're going to talk about hyperinflation, didn't crypto already benefit and isn't it priced in? So I think there are people who would do profit taking whether or not the thesis is valid. So that's one thing to take note of in this psychologically crazy world. All right. So that's one. Let's take a look at some things that I'm watching. I'm taking a look at how there is infinite money supply, but it's actually looking for assets that have high cash revenues. Definitely, I'd say that the market will remain elevated. The market will remain elevated. They will continue to pay a high price for the Shopifys of the world and for all of these great companies. This is a good news. Cardano is used as a payment for users of Shopify or WooCommerce, just as Bitcoin was founded to enable P2P, peer-to-peer currencies. Good news on that. But just because you've got good news, the question is it priced in? Always, the question is, even when Tesla had a great number, it was also priced in such that the market used the good news to actually take some profits off the table. I'm not really bearish. Actually, I'm very bullish on these assets. It's just that I think that you have to have some profit-taking understanding in your viewpoint. It doesn't mean that it will really crash. But a correction of about 50% or 40% has already happened in your Teslas. Don't you think that cryptos, which is really a function of assets as well, could also correct? And how low can the correction go? Assuming 64,000 was the top, so far the only correction that BTC has done is 26%. That is considerably mild for an asset like this. Assuming 40%, that would take it here to 39,000, a more appealing price. So I'd say that if I will be a betting man, the bulls should be very strong somewhere here at 40,000. Here at about 55,000, you're still just in a trading zone. You're in a trading zone, you cannot do hodling because the problem here is that if this breaks either up or down, you're still trapped in a highly frothy zone. Now, it can consolidate over time, that's true, or it can correct via price correction. And what I've seen in the US is that correction, even on the best names like IGV related names, can drop somewhere in the realm of about 20 to 30%. I'll show you how strong the performance of IGV. In the last year, Serens went 330%. Do you think Serens never had a correction? I'll show you some names. Serens is one of those companies that we like a lot. We bought it at $36, but even this one had a massive price correction from $140 to as low as $80. So we bought back $80, sell at $100. If it rallied to $110, it will still be sold. So I think the people are asking, is the price correction over? The answer in my view is perhaps not. It doesn't take an easy 2 months to actually consolidate and go back to all-time highs. So my suggestion is really more on the choppiness to actually take advantage of high prices to sell into. So I really tell people to sell high strike calls. So sell maybe Serens at about 115 strike with about $10 with a $10 limit, and then sell puts at $80 with an $8 premium. Usually I get 10% on both sides, 10% premium here and 10% premium in the highest perhaps resistance. I've been doing sell options to actually ensure the potential choppiness of the market, to ensure that even as you like a company, well, you can actually make money on two sides, no? It's not really shorting, guys. It's just selling high strikes, taking a premium. We talked about this in 2 free classes. Take a look at Awesome10X. We discussed selling put options, collecting Awesome10X winners. And I also discussed how GME's Roaring Kitty actually made millions of dollars with just $10,000. So if you really understand the concept of selling puts and selling calls, you'll understand short strangle. You'll understand how options is going to make you actually wealthy, Awesome10X style. So the thing about crypto is I don't know if I haven't tried if there's a short straddle, but and actually with crypto you don't see a short straddle availability yet. But with assets and stock options, it's very possible. I'll show you what you could do. No, so let me just explain to you what I've been doing, specifically with some micro caps. So I've been saying that GSAT is looking to be a great, it's volatile. It's very volatile. So this went from $3. So take note, this went from about 30 cents to $3 for a 10x move. So after a 10x move, naturally, a drop of 70%. So that drop of 70% unsustainable. Why? Because that happened in just 2 months. So no matter how great you think about the Qualcomm partnership with Global Star, a lot of people would actually take some profits off the table, and that's what happened. Now, after taking profits, they returned back here at about 90 cents, and we returned back here at 90 cents, 85 cents. After seeing the market bottom, notice that these fast moves back to 150 is an essential sell call option style. So assuming that the market will generally be volatile for the next foreseeable 2 to 3 months, let's say 2 to 3 months from April until July, what should you do with GSAT? It's very simple. There are ways to actually manage the volatility. Other people simply know buy 1, sell 1.5. Right? I mean, you don't have to sell at the peak, neither do you have to buy at the bottom. So knowing that you want to buy 1 and sell 1.5, what should you do? Awesome10X style. Sell puts 1, right? Sell puts 1 strike. That's your limit. Strike price of 1. Expiry date, approximately 1 to 2 months. So maybe around June. Let's say June. Today is April, so May, June 2021. And then we always say take a 10% yield. So 10 cents. 10 cents of $1. Now, if you can get better strikes, even better, right? Similarly, that's your sell put. You do the same thing here. Sell calls, 1.5 strike. Take 15 cents above. So actually, last night I got a 25 cents, even better limit. No, I got a 15 cents. I got a 25 cents premium. Expiry date June 2021. So if you do this, what does it mean? If you have $1 here, so let's say you're long, you have 100 shares here of GSAT at say $1, 1.2. Let's say that's your cost, 1.2. So if you have 1.2 G-Star, what happens in the next 3 months or 2 months? You either get called out. So let's say the calls 1.5 strike make money, it becomes in the money. That means this naturally expires. So you got how much? $10, because 10 cents times 100 shares is $10. You got $10 here. You got $15 here because this is 15 cents. You got a $25 on your 100 shares and you sold it at 1.5. Net, how much did you earn? How much did you earn? You made 50 cents on that 100 shares. Well, let's for just understanding, let's say your 100 shares of GSAT was purchased at 1, right? So you can only do this, guys, in IBKR. I'm not sure. I know that you can do this in eToro. So these are options. I teach people also how to utilize options in a choppy market. In a choppy market like Global Star, since it's very obvious that there's a support here and a resistance here, as long as the shares remain within this zone, you get to collect strikes all day long, all month long. So when it expires, this expires worthless, this expires worthless, you got 15 cents and 10 cents, automatic 25% gain. This strategy, guys, is short strangle. It's called short strangle. You can check it out in Wikipedia if you want to check it out in other YouTube channels. Now, assume that the company falls down south. Let's say G-Star fell below 1 strike. It went to 90 cents. What will you be doing? You will be forced to buy 100 shares. So your 100 shares of GSAT is getting another 100 shares at 1 since they paid you 10 cents there. Then your real cost is just 90 cents or $90. What happens to these sell calls here? It expires worthless. So you still made money on 15 cents, but you're now paying 100 shares minus actual cost of 75 cents. So 1 plus 75, your real cost is 0.825. You still got a cheap entry when you wanted to buy a share. You want to do sell puts and sell calls if you only want the shares. So you want the shares below 1 and you got the premium there, and you want to sell it at 1.5 and you also got the premium there. Okay, so GSAT is one company that I want to initiate a short strangle on. I also want to do this one, ASXC. I want to talk about companies that I've been trading and actually also utilizing. So in the past few days, we discussed about these great boner candles, this bullish candle on ASXC. This was a 50% rally from 130 all the way to about $2, and it even rallied to as high as 2.4. So you'll notice that last night there was some profit taking from 2.4. People sold it at 2.2. Naturally, some people who got in at 1.5 felt that that 50% or 60% rally in just 2 to 3 days was good enough for them. If you want to estimate, if it rallies from a low of 1.3 all the way to 2.6, that's almost 100%. So we know that there will be a lot of people who would actually trade this huge range of 100%. So how do you make money? Number one, ASXC is also a huge volatile name. Therefore, you could sell calls and sell puts. So just like GSAT, what do? Take a look at ASXC. You can sell strikes of calls 2.5 above, maybe 2.5 or 3. Sell strikes there, and then sell puts here about maybe if you can get a strike of 1.8, you can do that. So the lower, the better, of course. So that's one thing to do for ASXC. Let me show to you what has been happening in my watch list. I'll show to you. Sector-wise, the hotels haven't crumbled. So they're still strong year to date. I will wait for their weakness, but my theory is that this sector is already priced in. Cancer plays are volatile. You're seeing that some names go up and then go down fast. Bio-nanogenomics had a huge profit taking after reaching 770. I trimmed some shares of my BNGO. Actually, I trimmed all of my shares that are meant for trading. And for the shares that I have that aren't meant for trading, I sold calls to ensure myself that if it drops, I'll be able to navigate it. So you'll see that this one, no matter how good of a news BNGO had upon support, of course, after a 40 to 50% rally, people would naturally take profit. And that's what you saw last night with BNGO. From $5 to $7.50, it got broken down from $7.70 all the way to $7. It could rally to $8, but I would surmise that people would actually sell it at $8. So they could either sell it at 8 limit, such as their share prices, or they could sell calls on their BNGO. So we are seeing actually like last night was a confirmation that there's already resistance in the market. When you're seeing that there's resistance in the market, it actually tells you that the NASDAQ will also have resistance. So we are seeing the same thing happen. Right now, your NASDAQ is having a hard time to rally above 14,050, and it actually might range from 14,050 to 13,700 or about 350 range or about 3% range. So that 3% range could mean 20% if you are times 5 leverage on the upside or on the downside. Assuming that you believe that the 14,050 is more of a resistance, you're shorting somewhere at 14,000, you're probably covering somewhere here at 13,700. If that's a 5 times lever, 5x lever, a 1% drop is already 5% gain for you. A 10% drop or a 2% drop is already a 2% gain for you. I think that the bulls and the bears are fighting it out, and so far I'd say that you have an equal war. The bulls and bears, you actually have a draw. When you have a draw, the answer there is a choppy market. And in choppy markets, the best strategy is sell puts, sell calls, and collect premiums all day long in the highest volatility stocks. So you can make 20% yields just by doing that. So that's my suggestion in a time like this. Notice what's been happening. Dermtech, 37 to 50. If you didn't sell a call at 50 or you didn't sell your shares at $50, it would be back to about $40. So this type of range action is a perfect suitable area for sell puts and sell calls. So right now, I can clearly see that the market is, especially the micro caps and the small caps, it's really in a tight range. Well, it's not really as tight as you think. This is a 50 to 60% range. So I naturally would prefer trading, buying and selling on these big ranges rather than the big caps. So when I talk about the big caps, we're talking about Alibaba, for instance. You've got a very low range here. So very small range on Alibaba. Now, nonetheless, I think Alibaba will go back to 245. It's very undervalued, and so I'm just long here, long even at 235. Perhaps one day it goes to 260. I am aware that Google had a great number so last night, but instead of talking about Google's blasting earnings, which sent the shares back to all-time high, well, it's already at all-time high, so just more all-time highs. 2.3, I think Google is hitting 2.4. Nonetheless, if you'll notice, the market is quite stretched. I have been discussing that despite how bullish you are in the markets and even on cryptocurrencies, at some point it has to break. It needs to break down, not because of any particular bad news. The reason why it's breaking down, if ever, is because it just has to consolidate for profit taking. So if Google 2.4, people would try to take profit, you want to enter 2.1. I think that buying any price right now is a recipe for perhaps a disaster. So I just see that the market is actually range bound. SunPower is also good to actually do choppy action. You've got support here at 25 and 27. It's now doing 29. You wait it out at 32 to 36 before you sell. So it's just a choppy range. I think it's 25 to 35 range action for SunPower. The market cap of dual listed Chinese firms are similar. Yes, very similar. ADR is so Alibaba is 9988 and in US it's BABA. I think the only difference is just maybe a small amount. So Alibaba is 236 here, 9988 is cheaper. I think this one is cheaper, 231. But it's also in a range. So yun, it's stuck in a range. Is F meeting a strong resistance at 2.6? I think that Ethereum has a strong resistance at 2.6, but it's really about the entire sector. You're seeing that cryptocurrencies are just being taken profits from. So BTC 55,000 can go 60,000. Amongst these two, Ethereum is getting a lot of love because of the launch of NFT. And a lot of companies are adopting NFT, and most of the NFT blockchains are only openly buying, only accepting Ethereum. So they're not accepting any other crypto except Ethereum, which suggested that all-time high move of Ethereum. If there continues to be strong run-ups on NFT names, it will be a catalyst for more all-time highs on Ethereum. So far, we saw that Playboy was really doing well. So still nearing that all-time high, already 88% up from this drop to 32. You'll notice that MUDs is still at about Mudrick Capital we discussed. We were actually just buying at 11 and willing to sell at 14, even rose as high as 17. So I think if you were solidly taking profits 20, 30%, I mean, it's okay. It rallied as high as 40%. But you could see that the slew of money is quite excessive, no? Quite excessive. So you might see actually profit taking. I'd say that the market is just in a profit taking zone. Beyond Meat is quite slow, but I'm also bullish on it. There was news that Beyond Meat is expanding to groceries. So what you're seeing in Beyond Meat right now is just neutrality. Neutrality in that $131 zone. So it's just sleeping here. It's sleeping for almost a month. So you just wait it out. The real resistance is somewhere at 162, 172. Still 20% higher. The resistance, I don't know much about Oxygen. So I know that this is a penny stock. So perhaps just like any penny stock, it got oversold, it rallied. If I bought somewhere at $6, I'd probably take profit at 13. But that's just me. I could be wrong. It's something that isn't actually my domain. Do you think that the tech sector or the telecom sector will be a good buy next month? Telecoms are very drowsy. Are you talking about AT&T? AT&T, we mentioned to buy somewhere at about $29.50, but this is because of the HBO Max streaming. When we talk about telecom, are we talking about Ericsson? For Ericsson, we have been bullish since 11, sorry. And it has been just rising, no? 11 to 12, and it's now rising at 14. It's bullish because you're bullish on 5G. But I think at $14, just like everything else, it's kind of overstretched. So it's not really... Personally, my favorite sector will still be on the wearable sector. I'd still prefer trading MVIS, wearables. So I'd play this. You'll notice this one, $10 to $30, a 200 to 300% in just 5 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the fifth day drop. So I think that people would try to buy at 15 and they will try to sell at 30. So with that big range of 100%, even if you just buy below 15, I'd sell puts at 15 and I'll sell strikes at and I'll sell calls at $30 above. So that's how I'll play MVIS. For high max, people ask me about it as well. It's a buy and sell movement here. Very clear buyers and supporters 12 to 10, and then very clear sellers at about 17 to 20. Yeah, you just have a mixture actually. Right now, you've got a mixture of companies. So you'll notice this is red and green for even your space. SPACs and SHEs, Max and SHEs, nothing much. As you could see, the entire SPACs is still asleep. At least the $10 SPACs. When it comes to penny stocks, I think Okigen could actually be sold down given how fast 100% moves are being sold down. Artificial intelligence just went from 6 cents to 12 cents. Now it's back down to 10 cents and 9 cents. You're seeing actually a slew of profit-taking waves. So this one went up because it was oversold at 8 cents. Now it's about 9 cents. Wouldn't be surprised it goes to 10, 11 cents. But then after that, people will also take profit. So I think we are we are really in an environment where it's just really choppy action. Spotify has went up from $265 to $300 because of that Facebook. That news happened about 2 days ago. We actually argued that yeah, Spotify about $265, $270 looks to be a buy, and Spotify and Facebook are good additions, right? So both of them. Nonetheless, you could see a very strong resistance on Spotify at $350 in the short term. So it's very clear to me that we are in a real box. So I think that the market in the US is in a box, and the definitive answer is just to sell the chops, sell the highs, buy the lows. How do you sell the highs? Sell call. How do you buy the lows? Sell puts. That's how you make money in this market. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.